In this video, we're going to be talking about the 5 tips that I can give you for dressing for a wedding day. Thank you so much for joining me today. Before we dive into the content, if you're interested in actually seeing me photograph a real couple on a wedding day, be sure to visit the links below and I can provide that for you. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about dressing for a wedding day. And if you're a wedding photographer, then you know the struggle. It is so hard to find something to wear. I feel like we have gone through all the things, shoes, dresses, all the things to figure out what to wear. And now I'm going to be sharing my top tips. So number 1, when you're dressing for a wedding day, what's very important is that you blend in. So if you're photographing a formal wedding inside of a church, you want to dress in formal attire. Not necessarily a beaded gown per se, right? But you want to dress to the level of the occasion. That means that maybe for us, I'm wearing a pantsuit with a blazer. Or for my husband, Brad, who's second shoots with me, that he's wearing a suit. If he's around the groomsmen and they're wearing suits, he wants to blend in. I want to blend in. If I'm around the ladies and they're in hair and makeup, I want to make sure that I feel good with my own physical appearance so that I feel confident while I'm taking pictures. But it's not just about the confidence. It's also about us blending in to the wedding day photos or wedding day videos if we happen to get in front of each other's cameras. If we're photographing a beach wedding, for example, and everyone's in pastels and flowy textured materials, and Brad, my husband, walks into the frame, I want to make sure that he's in attire that almost looks like he's a guest, because we don't want, say, him wearing an all black suit or tuxedo or something of that sort to walk across my frame when everyone else is in khaki. He's going to stick out like a sore thumb. However, if we're in a church wedding and I'm moving around a lot at the altar, I'm probably going to wear all black. I want to sort of blend in and not call attention to myself. So that's going to be my tip number 1, is to make sure that you blend into the environment. Have an awareness about the type of wedding it is and the type of outfits that the guests are going to be wearing too, so that you can dress to the level of formality and also to the type of environment, weather conditions that you're going to be in for the day. Number 2 is going to be make smart choices about comfortability. The very first wedding I ever photographed, I wore high heels. I felt like I wanted to be professional, and so in my mind, that was wearing heels. Big mistake. I had no idea that I would be standing on my feet or moving around as much as I did. So by the time the reception came around, I took my shoes off. And that is way more unprofessional than wearing a pair of flats. So that was a lesson learned for me. Now, my go-to pair of shoes is actually a pair of booties. I'll show them here. And these booties are very comfortable. I wear them mainly because what we photograph here a lot in New Orleans is going to be ballroom weddings, church weddings, even indoor-outdoor venues where a bootie is appropriate, and I can wear it with dresses or pants, and I do typically wear all black here. So I feel like this has really worked for me. I've also used the Vionic brand inserts. The great thing about the inserts is that you can put these in different types of shoes. So if you have a pair of shoes that you really love, you just need that extra support, the Vionic inserts work great for that. I know there are some photographers that wear sandals. I've personally never done so. I think a closed-toe shoe is more professional and formal, unless, say, I am in a beach setting per se. And then also, if I'm walking around on the dance floor and people have been drinking, I just don't want anyone to step on my toes. So that's really my thought there with that. So I've always worn closed-toe shoes and it's worked well for me. And then, like I said, I've moved from going to photographing heels to photographing in flats or booties, or maybe a little kitten heel even is fine if I'm shooting a rehearsal dinner or something less than 4 hours. So I know shoes are a highly debated topic. I'll show you my top 2. I've already showed you the bootie. This is my other favorite pair of shoes. It's made by Cole Haan, and these are part of the Grand Zero lines for women, and I really like these shoes. Tip number 3 is going to be to dress professionally and in an elevated way. If you're ever in doubt, it's always better to be a little bit overdressed than underdressed. If I'm photographing a bridal session or an engagement session, and I know that that couple or whoever is there is going to be in a certain type of clothing, I want to be in that same type of attire. Think about it. If you're in a room full of people and everyone's dressed really nicely and you're wearing flip-flops, you're going to feel self-conscious. You're going to feel like, gosh, everyone's dressed so well and I am not. And so if I'm ever unsure, I always just dress a little nicer than I think. So that way, if anything, they might just think, oh wow, she was really, doing her best and putting her best self out there to look professional for the event. So it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. Number 4 is going to be to make sure that you're dressed appropriately. And what I mean by that is if you're a female and you're wearing a dress, for example, and say it's a V-neck and it's cut really low, wear a camisole underneath it so that if you bend over, you never worry that it's going to come too far away from your body. Or if it's a dress, give yourself that little bit of extra length. This dress that I'm wearing right now, I'm actually wearing to a rehearsal dinner tonight, and it falls just below the knee. It's not too tight, it's got a little bit of give, and it falls below the knee so that if I have to bend over to get gear or reach up to grab something, I won't worry that you can see what's underneath, even if it's shorts or Spanx or something like that. I have seen myself vendors bend over with dresses at weddings and see in their Spanx or whatever the case may be. And so I always think to myself, well, I'm going to give myself that little bit of extra length because I know I'm going to be up, down, and grabbing gear, and I want to make sure that it looks good, right? And the last thing that I would give you is that I think that whatever we wear for weddings needs to be durable. So, for example, Brad wears a black suit over a white button-up and black pants. And when we went to go buy him his pants, we went to a store called Theory, which I had never really shopped there for him before because we would usually shop at, say, Express or something like that. And the Theory pants were about 3 to 4 times as much. However, it's been about 4 years since we bought those pants for him. They were by far the most comfortable. They were beautiful, a great quality fabric, and they've lasted. So when we're buying clothes for a wedding day, sometimes we'll splurge because it'll look really nice and it'll last and it'll be comfortable for us. All of those things are really imperative to our job. You wouldn't believe how many times we've had guests or people in the wedding or wedding party come to us and say, thank you so much for dressing so nice for the occasion. Or, wow, you guys look so great. You wouldn't believe, and this is a quote from them, you wouldn't believe how many photographers that we've seen that aren't dressed up enough for the event. Who would have thought that anyone would actually care what we're wearing, but they do. And it's made even more complicated by the fact that we're working. So I know I've spent a lot of time thinking about what to wear and rack my brain around it. With that being said, I'll put up a few photos. I'll put some links in the comments. Hopefully this will help you in your shopping. And I really wish you happy shooting. Thank you so much for being here. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to giving you more content to help you as you're doing your photography.